Okay, you guys, welcome back. In this video, we're learning about f-stop or aperture. So I have my gray card set up in the studio, and then I've got a couple plants behind it. So you're gonna already notice the plants are slightly out of focus because they're further behind. The gray card is sharp. Now my f-stop is 5.6. So because of that number, I'm getting a little bit of background blur. And I do have a really nice exposure set right now, but if I want more background blur, I have to bring the F lower, okay? So as I lower it, you're gonna notice those trees or those plants start to get way more out of focus. Now you're also gonna notice that the scene got way too bright. So we do have to counter that by bringing our ISO down, okay? So we'll bring that down to a more manageable level, so that looks nice. But now you're gonna see how much extra background blur we have, okay? So the reason that you want that, I mean, there's a couple different reasons, but it could be an artistic reason. Maybe you like the look. Maybe the lens has a really beautiful blur look to it. Maybe you really want your subject or your item to pop more off of the background and get that nice separation. Or maybe you want to hide what's in the background. You want it not so clear what it is in the background. So there's many reasons. But that's what you're gonna do. And if we want even more blur, this particular lens actually goes all the way down to 1.4. So we're not quite there yet. We could go further and really get a ton of beautiful background blur. So there's 1.4. I would then have to bring my ISO down because obviously this is way too bright. Now, if you're doing photography, like we're set for video now, but if I was doing photos and I wasn't stuck to that double frame rate thing for my shutter, I could choose to bring the shutter up and counter that like this, okay? So that would work as well. So now we have a more pleasing exposure, and then look at that intense amount of background blur. So, if you were doing an interview with a person and you really wanted to get artistic with it, this is beautiful, f1.4. You just have to be careful because it's a very narrow point of focus. So someone's eye might be in focus, but their nose that sticks out a little further, or maybe the back of their head or their ears are going to be out of focus. So, do be careful when you're using this stuff, but for artistic reasons, it's beautiful. Now, let's go in the other direction. So let's say we don't want to be so out of focus in the background. Let's say we want to really make everything sharp. So we would have to then bring that f-stop all the way up, okay? So let's go way up, but now you notice there's no light coming in. So everything is extremely dark. So I'm going to counter that, and I'm going to bring my shutter back down. Okay, I'm gonna set it back for video settings. So I'm gonna go to 50 because it's double my frame rate. And I'm gonna counter the rest of that by bringing my ISO up. Okay, now alternatively, if you had lights and you wanted to power the lights higher, that would do it as well. But in this case, I'm leaving the lights as is, and I'm just gonna crank the ISO. Okay, now that creates other issues because depending on your camera, it's gonna make things noisier. But at least now you can see at this stage how much more in focus the background is, okay? One other thing to note when your f-stop is this high, you start to lose that nice cinematic feel. Everything is just so in focus so that you don't have that nice depth of field. So it's not, in my opinion, as pleasing of a look. Also, you run into issues where you'll now start to notice anything on your sensor. If there was any dust spots or any particles or anything on your sensor, you're really gonna have that showing up in your scene, okay? So I would be careful there. Like I wouldn't really shoot at f16. I'm just showing this for example purposes. In my opinion, I would go back down to those lower, more cinematic f-stops. Like where we started at 5.6, that was a pretty nice one. So let's bring the ISO back down to a more manageable spot like that. Now, one other thing I'll mention about f-stop is that it's handy to know that foreground things that are closer to the lens can also be out of focus, okay? And you can use that to your advantage when composing shots for photography or for video and purposely placing things in front of the lens. So I'm just gonna actually just pop my fingers in front just so you can see the example, but something that's close to the lens like that is also gonna be out of focus, right? So the background can be out of focus, but also your foreground can have things out of focus as well. And that can create lots of opportunity for artistic choices. Okay, so that's f-stop. I hope that's helpful for you guys and you can start making creative and more wise choices in your own shots.